Okay, now I feel like there's so much going around on social media at the moment with hybrid training and misconceptions. So in this video, I really want to touch on a few of the things that I think need addressing. Okay, we have got a double training session today. So I'm going to hit this first piece on my own, and then I'm going to come back later and train with the guys. Okay, so whilst I'm talking about my training, I just want to say that I think another thing people get misled information with hybrid training is that it has no structure. Hybrid training actually probably has the best structure that you can find, and that's because where you're hitting so much endurance and so much strength, you actually need to make sure that you have structure in your routine. Otherwise, you're not going to see any benefits from your performance, or if your goal is muscle growth or growing, you're not going to see progression. And that's with any program or any kind of sport. If you don't have, it laid out like a tailored program, you're not going to see the results that you want. So I think that's misled information as well, that hybrid training has no structure. I don't just wake up one day and think, oh, today I'm going to go for a run, and then tomorrow I'm going to train my legs, and then I'm going to train my legs again on the next day. You kind of hit, with CrossFit, what I do is I kind of hit every body part every day, but it has structure. So for example, on a Saturday, I really focus on explosiveness. So I have a whole section at the moment that is just like wall balls thrown to the wall ball slams, jumping off a box and sprinting. And that's going to really help me in my power cleans and, my jerks off the floor and stuff like that. So, or pulls off the floor. So it has structure as long as you find the right person to write a well-structured program for you, basically. You don't have to train twice a day. You just have to make sure that your training is structured. So you could go to the gym for one session and you could do, either your strength first and then your endurance after. It depends how you kind of want to hit it. So, you could maybe, if you want to get better at strength work, I would do the strength first. If you wanted to get better at endurance, then I would of course do the endurance work first. So it just depends really how you kind of tailor it to yourself and your needs. I wanted to talk about, are you always injured when you do hybrid training, CrossFit training? And the answer is no, as long as you warm up properly and you take your recovery seriously. But you do need to do your recovery properly, and things like this, they take time, and I hate doing them. And I have avoided stuff like this for so long that now my back's playing up, because I train so much and you need to recover just as much. Nutrition obviously takes a big role in that. And I do very, very rarely get injured, but it's important that you mobilize, you stretch, you do things like, I would love to get down to another gym, like twice, 3 times a week to jump in a sauna. But I physically, as a mum, just do not have the time. I don't have the time to do all my content, all my work, both training sessions, housework. I'm very lucky that Alex is very good with housework, actually. But, food shop, everything, it gets on top of you. And it's impossible to fit it all in, it is. But you do have to make time. So now when I'm normally sitting down, having a coffee, working, I'm going to use the time to lay on this mat and multitask and work. So, and especially in like the colder months, now that it's getting a lot cooler, you have to prioritize warming up a lot more. Finn's dead from the workout. I don't think I have actually ever physically felt sick during a training session like that. Honestly, not to the point where I'm going to heave. I've actually never felt ill after a training session, but I felt ill during that training session. I had salmon, avocado, rice, quite a heavy meal before session 2, and a coffee, and I probably shouldn't have had it. So I always leave snacks in my bag. I know I've told you before I snack on those naked bars, but I just found that they wasn't doing anything for me. So I've now actually swapped it for a goat bar, because they're more in calories and I find they fill me up more. So in my gym bag, I keep electrolytes all the time. I have these energy gels, and I will only have these during long endurance sessions if my heart rate is above zone 3. That's me. I don't need them during zone 2 sessions. And then these are the goat bars. And the reason why I have these and I won't have the designer protein bars is because I think the designer protein bars where they're chocolatey will make me feel sick during a training session, whereas because these are literally whole foods, I think that's why I like them so much, because you know I'm a whole food girl, and these literally have gluten-free oats, egg whites, dates, almonds, honey, cashews, dried strawberries, dehydrated cranberries, and that's it. This is berry flavour, but I have heard they're bringing out 2 really nice flavours soon. I'm hoping soon, because I know what flavours they are and they're going to be so nice. I do so much endurance training and strength training, but I'm still able to build muscle. So I actually posted a reel on my Instagram today about how when I was back and excuse me, she likes to be touched, and I weighed 100 pounds. Now that is so light for my height. I'm 5'6", and 100 pounds, I think in kg is 7 stone 1. I was very, very light, and I was not as powerful with my running as could you imagine, put yourself on an erg. So if you put, I mean, I'm not 7 stone now, but imagine I was. So 7 stone on an assault bike, and then you've got an 80 kg male. That 80 kg male is going to be faster on calories, faster on power, faster on watts than what an 100-pound female would be. So your strength training is really important, because the more muscle mass you have, the stronger you are, the more powerful and faster you are going to be on the ergs, the bike, the rower, and the ski, because you have more body weight behind you to be faster and to pull more power. So strength training is really important with endurance training. So if you are a runner, it's good that you're doing your squats, you're doing your unilateral movement. You need to make opposite sides strong for balance, for stability, for just strength and power. So you can't do all endurance and no strength training. It's really important that you have the balance right. And then touching on that, the endurance isn't going to necessarily kill your gains, as people say. You know, as long as you're eating enough, you're fueling your body correctly, you're getting the calories in. If you're eating at maintenance or you're eating in a very slight surplus, it's not going to make you lose muscle mass if you are getting the balance of strength and endurance training right. So I just kind of wanted to touch on those two, because I think it's really important. Like, I think people look at hybrid trainers and they think, oh, they're really skinny and they've got no muscle mass. But I mean, kind of CrossFitters are kind of hybrid athletes, because they do everything. And if you look at a CrossFit athlete's physique, it's insane. So yeah, anyway, that's what I wanted to touch on for today. I hope you've enjoyed the vlog. Me and Olive are going to go have dinner, and we'll catch you in the next video, won't we? Say bye.